Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV, and first and foremost, thank you for making me blush on the last video because all your comments were lovely, and to all the people who came back hating, I love you more, and I know that really annoys you, and I know that's a weird thing that we've got going on. You hate me, I love you, it is what it is. I've got too much love to give at the moment, and I'm back on YouTube, baby. It's really good to see. I've done the Big Six show the other day, I got my first video out yesterday, I'm back again today, but one spanner was thrown into the works. You know when like you just think everything's going perfect and stuff like that? Next thing you know, something will hit the fan. My video yesterday got copyright claimed. Now it doesn't mean I've got any strikes, but guess what it was? It weren't because I was spitting knowledge and people were like, whoa, there's too much factual information going on. It's actually because the intro music, which I've been using for the best part of 2 to 3 years now, finally got copyright claims. So I'm going to try and work a way around it, see if I can still use it in future videos. For now, we're going to go on the temporary basis of just the right hello there, guys, and then get into the video. Big shame because I love that music. Now, I feel like it became quite iconic, and hopefully I can sort out that situation, because when it comes to copyright claims and stuff like that, I'm not really looking to piss anyone off. I'm not looking to really anger anybody. It weren't my music. I literally got it off a YouTube video. So whoever did look at that video and copyright claim, please forgive me and don't come at me again. Anyway, in this video, we are going to talk about a couple of topics. I don't feel like there's much news out at the moment. And to be honest with you, I've been slacking on keeping up with the news recently. So I wanted to go over a couple of the comments where they were rather thought-provoking in the last video. And then also I want to talk about a couple of little debates that I've been thinking about in my time away. But first and foremost, smash a like if you want, comment if you so wish, and let's get into the first comment. A-Up says, no, people keep talking about him being in midfield, so this is referencing to Jude Bellingham, as I mentioned about Jude Bellingham in the last video. Also could actually be referencing Trent, because I also talked about Trent playing in midfield last video. But anyway, people keep talking about Trent or Bellingham in midfield, but people don't understand Jurgen's system. He needs midfielders with elite defensive qualities, not creative, because the creativity comes from the wings, from the likes of Trent and Robertson. So people who keep thinking he needs to be in midfield don't understand that Liverpool's midfield is so bad that there is no ball progressor in the midfield, which is indeed very worrying, not sustainable for a long-term future. A few really good points made here, and I think the gist of what he's trying to say is Liverpool thrive more with defensive qualities and also a ball progressor. So let me give you the case study of Liverpool's best ever midfield three. Not Thiago, Henderson and Fabinho, it's Gini, Henderson and Fabinho. And I feel like if anyone disputes that, then you're high on crack cocaine. And we've seen some great midfields. We've seen Xabi Alonso, Steven Gerrard. We've seen Felipe Coutinho, Steven Gerrard and Jordan Henderson. All the way fast forward to the Gini, Fabinho and Henderson partnership. I feel like the best, even and then switch Gini, put in Thiago. I feel like the best midfield three that we've ever had was Gini, Fabinho and Henderson. And Gini's the key one there, because he was the one who went. Then we got Thiago, and then just something was missing. Now, the reason why I think Liverpool's team is so good, and we put so much emphasis on these creative midfielders, you know, Jude Bellingham is a creative midfielder, and I know A-Up was talking about Jude now because he was mentioning about creativity. Jude's an attacking option, and as exciting as it is to have that attacking option, you know, let me take you back to the days of Felipe Coutinho, let me take you back even further to the days of Steven Gerrard. It is really amazing when you do have that one player who can win you games of football. That being said, did we ever win a league with Coutinho? No. Did we ever win a league with Steven Gerrard? As much as it pains me to admit that sentence, no. And I wouldn't say it's always Steven Gerrard's fault. And I don't think, you know, City owes someone to disprove this. You can have a Kevin De Bruyne in your midfield, a progressive midfielder, and win league titles. But in Liverpool's system, which was A-Up's main point, why do you need that heavily offensive player? Yeah, you can have a ball progressor. So let me reference back to Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum was a progressively going forward midfielder, but he was also box-to-box. But in our system, he'd go to Netherlands and score many goals, whereas in our system, he wouldn't get into those goal-scoring positions. Now, it's not because he couldn't score goals. He could literally go to the Netherlands national team and get himself a couple of goals in the space of 2 or 3 games, because he was free to go into those positions, kind of like a Bruno Fernandes was allowed to get into those attacking positions to where the goals are just more prevalent. Also with the assists. The reason why he wouldn't score in our system is because his main jobs was to defend and to get the ball forward. What was Henderson's job? His job was to defend, progress the ball slightly forward, do what he needs to do, and then cover him for Trent when he goes forward. The main job there was Henderson drops in, Trent then goes forward. And then you've got Fabinho, who alternates between the CDM and the centre-back position, because I felt whenever we saw Robertson and Trent both bomb up when we were at our peak, Fabinho would drop into that back three, making it all the more sustainable. Therefore, I think this is a great comment. I think it's a great comment because we all talk about, oh, we need a Jude Bellingham when Coutinho was available. Oh, we need to get a Coutinho. We need goals. We need this. We need that. Oh, Liverpool lack goals. Guess what? We got 97 and 99 points successively without an attacker midfielder. So what that suggests to me is the last thing we needed was an attacker midfielder. Also, I'm not saying the conclusion was keep Gini Wijnaldum. Because Gini Wijnaldum, at some stage, you do need to get rid of some of these players. Now let's fast forward to Thiago. I love Thiago. One of the best, technical, beautiful, eye-watching. Remember the goal against Porto? What a goal. Brilliant. Probably the best goal I've seen in the past 5 years from a Liverpool player. Now, you can probably find one which disputes it, but in the main, I think Thiago has probably got the best one. The slicer, the grass cutter against Porto was sensational. As good as Thiago is, he never elevated our team to the way that Gini Wijnaldum did. And it's not because Gini's a better player than Thiago, but let's go back to a term or a word that Ayub used in this comment: system. System is very important within football, especially when when you're one of the top coaches, you have to be very system specific. Pep is very system specific. Klopp is very system specific. Even someone as good as Tuchel, who isn't as good as the two managers I've just listed, is very system specific, and that's why these managers win trophies. I can throw in Jose Mourinho, I can throw in Antonio Conte, so we had our best football with Gini, Henderson, Fabinho. The thing that all three of them had in common is they could defend. Could they do it at a world-class level? Who cares? They could do it at a very good job and a very good Premier League level. We never needed Coutinho, we never needed Gerrard, and even when we got Thiago, one of the greatest midfielders to ever join the club coming into the club, he didn't really improve us. We've had some great games with Thiago. Don't try and take this and perceive it as, oh, James is saying Thiago's crap. How can you say that the Spanish maestro's terrible? He's not terrible. But was he the best thing for Liverpool's system? I'm starting to see in hindsight why some people were maybe suggesting it. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I don't think we should have got Thiago, because he's still an option regardless. It's never a bad thing to have Thiago in the squad. But you need to have that Gini replacement, and we never directly replaced Gini, and that was the biggest issue. We never got that player who was so good at the box-to-box stuff, and we've relied on Henderson for so long due to the limited resources in which we possess, to where we've had to stick with that midfield until it completely burns out, and that was just this season. And now the conclusions that people are finding are Jude Bellingham, are Trent Alexander-Arnold, and people were very confused when I said Jude Bellingham isn't the be-all and end-all. And then people would say, oh, but you don't get enough goals from your midfield. Who cares? If we're getting 99 points, no midfielder has to score. If Salah's getting 40 goals, Mane's getting 20 goals, and Firmino's getting 20 goals, no one in the midfield needs to score. So I don't really care if anyone in midfield's getting goals. I care about the overall team working at its best. And the last point that he made in that, before I move on to the next question, is about Trent and Robertson being allowed to go forwards all that more. Trent not getting caught out in one-on-ones. Robertson not getting caught out defensively. Happens more with Trent and Robertson, but still, I feel like we need to get them two forward up the pitch. That's where we really thrive, and that's where we're kind of different from a lot of other teams. Is where not only the attack and full-backs thing, I feel like we made it popular, but it's actually more so how good the players actually are, how efficient Robbo is, even though he's not technical, how technical and efficient Trent Alexander-Arnold is, and I feel like if we get another player like Gini Wijnaldum, we can go back to that football. Now, James will say, oh, but James, you don't want to get caught out. Believe me, we've just played different football for 2 years to what we were playing when we had Gini in the midfield. Let's go back to that, hope for the best, and let's get that fella who looked like the kid from Harry Potter back in, because he was doing some good stuff in the 17-18 season onwards, and then obviously post them seasons, went on to win the Champions League, Premier League, etc. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about before the end of the video, and it's been a boss one, I feel like that was a long topic that was worth delving into, and it was just something that was on my mind, is about our front three. Because we've got so many attackers, and one of them have got to leave. And when I say one of them, I'm talking Diogo Jota, Fabio Carvalho was already rumoured to leave. What do you think about that in the comments down below? I think that's very interesting because obviously Fabio Carvalho was coming in and I thought he was a bit of a star boy. Now it's rumoured he's going to be out on loan or going to be sold. I feel like there's loads of questions me and you were going to ask about Fabio Carvalho and why he hasn't been playing. But I'm not too sure though. I feel like there's something behind the scenes maybe we don't quite know about. I don't think it's anything to do with the kid's ability on the ball. Maybe something else additionally that I feel like. One thing you've got to realise, Liverpool are very, very good at keeping this stuff. There's even things that I hear within the football club and I'm like, well, how is that not being like reached to the surface? Because we're very good at keeping things close to heart. Whereas Manchester United, for instance, they're not as good at those things, or other big clubs in the league aren't as good as those things. Usually it's very easy to get access to those information, whereas we do very well at limiting it. So don't just think it's because Klopp doesn't like him. It can be very multiple variety of reasons. But this isn't about Fabio Carvalho. This is purely about our front three situation. Bobby Firmino's leaving. Then we're left with Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, and I'm trying to think of anyone else in which we'll play. Gakpo. And then... Is that it? Gakpo, Jota, Diaz, Núñez, Firmino's going. Salah, of course. So yeah, you've got them 5 options, and they're good options to have for sure. Will any of them go? I'm not too sure. I think if anyone's most likely to go, it's probably Diogo Jota. But then the last couple of games have told me otherwise. The last couple of games have told me, like, do you know what? Maybe Diogo Jota isn't going to go because Klopp seems to really have him in his plans. Think about that. Núñez is like the #1 favourite within the wider Liverpool fans at the moment. And the second, and I said the second Diogo Jota's fit, Núñez will not be starting in that front three. He just won't be. He's just, as good as Núñez is, he comes on, he gets a goal, and that's what you'll get. Diogo Jota is better than Núñez, and that's why he will start above Núñez on a more consistent basis, in my opinion. But it's good to interchange because they're 2 different type of players. So I believe when it comes to the best front three, you've got to go with... I'm really impressed with Gakpo. I feel like he's added a whole different element to the team. He's not necessarily as technical as Firmino, but what he is he's smart. He gets in the right positions at the right time. And although the pass might not always be completed, he's always trying to perform the right pass. So that's what I like about Gakpo. I think he's been a great signing, a phenomenal addition that people just really wanted to jump on because we swooped him from Manchester United. So that was interesting. But I believe the best front three is probably Diaz, Gakpo and Salah. And then if you're not going to be playing Diaz because he's been out for so long, then you're going to go with Jota. And then you can have Núñez on the bench who comes on and plays in that front three. It's a big shame Firmino's going because I feel like he'd be playing more if he was staying. If he had signed a new contract, I do believe he'd have more of an involvement this season just because he's been so good whenever he's played. Not to say he's been great every single game, but I feel like when it comes to the end of the season and we all raise the question, who is being the player of the season, I feel like our mouths must confess that it has been Bobby Firmino. And I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say. I think that's a very sound, normal point of view that I can back up with stats because there's stat merchants out there and also with visual pleasure because he plays boss and it looks good doing it. So it's one of those things where Firmino going's upsetting, but we have still got great attacking options. You'll probably ask the question, James, should we bring in another attacker? No. Get Harvey Elliott into that front array of options. I feel like he's been very limited in the midfield. I think now it's about time we maximise Harvey Elliott as a backup right winger or something along those lines. Start playing Curtis Jones in the role in which we were trying to play Harvey Elliott, as well as getting a box-to-box midfielder. I think that is the conclusion. Let Firmino go, and then keep all the other attackers in which we've got. Even let Fabio Carvalho go. Keep the attackers that we've got. Bring in a progressive midfielder who's going to play that box-to-box role, kind of like a Gini Wijnaldum type player. Let me know if you think that's wrong, but I feel like that's a little bit of a solution to the problem in which Liverpool possess at the moment, and that's why I just want to come on camera and delve it through with y'all, because I feel like the people who are going to humble me most on my opinions and say, oh no, James, you're wrong because of this, is the smartest fan base on YouTube, the Redmond's Army. So let me know in the comments down below what you're saying. By the way, you've seen this cup before, but what a great cup. Isn't that boss? Isn't that great? That's absolutely marvellous. Yeah, let me know going forward what you want me to do, content-wise, YouTube-wise. I'm still getting used to being on camera again. I'm getting the mixture of the presenter mode, authenticity mode, where you're not just watching a robot, but you've sometimes got to make this entertaining to some degree. If you did enjoy, for whatever reason, smash a like, subscribe if you want. If you don't want to completely understand, because you're probably thinking, oh, well, he's not even going to upload tomorrow. Just you wait and see, Jimmy. Just you wait and see, Jimmy, because you're going to be solely disappointed when you see an upload tomorrow at about 12. Anyway, much love to all you and your mothers. God bless you all. And yeah, I'll see you all in a bit. Peace.